efforts in the first 48 hours.
I just spoke with Secretary Powell. I think they're doing an incredible job in getting a consensus here. Tom, for the first time in the history of NATO, NATO passed a resolution, the so-called NAC, the group that makes these decisions, as you know, passed a resolution saying this is an Article 5 action, meaning that an attack against one is an attack against all. Translated, if we can show, which we will be able to, that this was an asset from outside of the United States that did this, that they will join us in pursuing the aggressor. This is a big deal. Secondly, we have had significant input from moderate Arab states who I believe, and I think the Secretary will be able to put together, will be supportive of whatever action we take. China and Russia have expressed in a way they never have before, because they understand their growing vulnerability, the willingness to deal with these folks and whatever state is harboring them. This is an opportunity. People are talking about, Tom, about our way of life ending. Wrong. The way of life of organized terrorist cells is about to end. They crossed the line. They crossed the line. And the civilized world, I predict you, is going to respond, and I compliment Secretary Powell on beginning this organizational effort.
Senator Biden, I remember very well on the eve of Operation Desert Storm in the Senate, there was a very spirited debate and a very close vote about whether the Senate would support then-President George Bush the 41st in his efforts to get Iraq out of Kuwait. Do you expect anything like that kind of divisive debate?
Absolutely not, Tom. And Tom, if I may say, you asked John a question. John's a close friend. You asked him a question about we wouldn't put troops on the ground in Kosovo. John and I were the ones that had the resolution saying put troops on the ground in Kosovo. This is not Kosovo. The American people have been attacked. There will be overwhelming support. The military understands. The people understand. I would be dumbfounded if a single person would argue against using military ground forces if that is deemed to be necessary.
And this military operation, as Senator McCain and others have indicated today, the American public has to be aware of the fact that it could go on for some time.
Yes, well, by the way, it may go on sporadically, but Tom, we have an opportunity here, if we do this well, and I think we will, to actually unite the world in dealing with this, so we can begin to end the possibility of large-scale terrorist organizations having the succor and support of other nations. I mean, everybody has to understand. For example, the Pakistanis have to understand they got to pick sides now. Everybody's got to pick a side, Tom, off the sidelines, period. And I think that's going to happen. This has never happened in the whole second half of the 20th century. This is a seminal moment. And I think every once in a while, Tom, some group, some individual, some nation goes so far that they crossed every line. The terrorist organization involved here crossed the line, and I think they've signed their death warrant and the death warrant for the ability of these kinds of cells to exist with the support of other nations.
Thank you so much, Senator Joe Biden, who is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations